Diddy ran the East Coast with his Bad Boy record label for years, but then had one of the most shocking downfalls in rap history. From overdoses and paid murders to rappers joining cults, this is the crazy downfall of Bad Boy Records that most fans have no idea about. Diddy got started in the music industry as an unpaid intern for Uptown Records. He grew up near a rapper named Heavy D who signed to Uptown while Diddy was in college. Diddy convinced Heavy D to introduce him to the founder, Andre Harrell. Harrell agreed to give him an internship, and Diddy eventually dropped out of college to work at the label. But even though he started out making no money, his plan was to take over the whole game. Diddy worked his way up through the company until they promoted him to being an A&R. And back then, everyone knew he had potential. Diddy helped kick off the careers of big artists like Jodeci while he was at Uptown. But Diddy was always getting into it with the owner of the label, Andre Harrell. Harrell started out as a rapper back in the day and had a crew with his homie Alonzo Brown called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Harrell wasn't making huge waves with his music, but then he met Russell Simmons from Def Jam Records and everything changed. Harrell started working at Def Jam and was making way more money in the office than he did in the booth. And after working at Def Jam for a few years, Harrell split off and started Uptown Records. Uptown was one of the hottest new labels in the game, and Diddy helped Harrell take it to another level. They weren't really getting along though, because Diddy wanted to do everything his own way, so Harrell decided to fire him. Diddy had just signed Biggie Smalls and was helping him work on his first project. Some of the executives at the label that owned Uptown didn't like the music because they thought it was too violent and didn't want to release it. Harrell saw Diddy's vision and knew that music was changing, but he also didn't care to fight for keeping Biggie on the label. So Harrell decided to fire Diddy and let him do his own thing. That's when Diddy decided to start Bad Boy Records, but he didn't have the cash to launch a major label. He ended up signing a deal with Arista Records to help start the label, but rumors say there's way more to the story. After Diddy got booked by the feds, a dude named Castle Black hopped on Twitter and started throwing around some crazy rumors. He deleted his account right after he made the tweets, but Castle Black claimed that Diddy had a crazy plan to get funding for his label. According to Castle Black, Diddy threw a massive party with a bunch of rich people and secretly drugged all the food and drinks. The party allegedly got crazy after that and turned into an orgy, and Diddy allegedly filmed the whole thing and used the footage as blackmail to get money to start Bad Boy Records. There's no evidence to back the story up, but we already know that Diddy has been drugging people and filming them at his freak-offs for years, so it wouldn't even be surprising if Castle Black's story is real. But after Diddy had the money, he still needed to start dropping hits to keep the label alive. Luckily for him, he had a dude named Mack in his corner, and Mack's first single on Bad Boy Records was a track called Flavor in Your Ear. Flavor in Your Ear was a crazy hit that went platinum and got nominated for a Grammy. Bad Boy already had a hit, but nobody expected what happened next. Back in '91, the Notorious B.I.G. got out of jail for dealing crack and dropped his first demo tape. The Source magazine shouted Biggie out in their unsigned hype section, and that's how Diddy found out about him. Diddy was still working at Uptown when he met Biggie in '92, and Diddy linked him up with other artists on the label like Mary J. Blige. Everyone knew Biggie had potential, and Uptown fumbled the bag like crazy when they fired Diddy. Diddy brought Biggie with him to Bad Boy Records, and that's the move that changed everything. Mack put Bad Boy on the map, but Biggie took it to a whole new level. Before his first album came out, Biggie dropped the track Juicy and ended up going 6 times platinum. And when his album Ready to Die released in '94, it sold over 500,000 copies in the first week and put the whole Bad Boy crew in the spotlight. Diddy wasn't just pushing rap though, and a lot of Bad Boy's biggest artists back in the day were R&B singers like Total and Faith Evans. Diddy was in control of everything too. He helped style the artists on the label, produced a lot of tracks, and made everyone sound exactly like he wanted, and also appeared in everyone's music videos. Another thing that made Bad Boy so consistent back then was Diddy's crew of in-house producers he called the Hitmen. Bad Boy and Diddy were all over headlines and magazine covers, and another thing that took the label even higher was the beef between the East Coast and West Coast. Before Biggie became a superstar in the face of East Coast rap, he was tight with Tupac. They linked up in the booth, had shows together, and Biggie even crashed at Pac's crib when he was on the West Coast. Then in November 1994, Pac got shot 5 times and robbed at Quad Studios in Manhattan, and he thought Diddy and Biggie might have been involved with the setup. Tupac had been offered some money to go to the studio to record a feature for an artist named Lil Sean. As Tupac was walking into the building, he heard Lil Cease and other members of Biggie's crew, Junior Mafia, call his name from one of the higher floors. So Tupac knew they were all in the studio that night. But while he was still in the lobby, Tupac got robbed and shot, and he always thought the whole thing was a setup. Diddy and Biggie both said they didn't have anything to do with it. But Diddy made the situation even worse when he decided to drop Biggie's track, Who Shot Ya, right after it went down. On the track, Biggie had a lot of lines that could have been linked to the Quad Studio shooting, like when he rapped, "Everything around me, 2 Glock 9s. Any motherfucker whispering about mines. And I'm Crooklyn's finest. You rewind this, bad boys behind this." And "Brave nigga, turn front page, nigga. Puff Daddy flips daily. I smoke the blunts, he sips on Baileys. On the rocks, tote Glocks at christenings." According to sources, Biggie never wanted to diss Pac, and the track was recorded before the shooting went down. But Diddy knew that the beef would sell more records, so he dropped the track right after Pac got shot. A lot of people think the whole East Coast versus West Coast beef was between Pac and Biggie, but it was really all about Diddy and Suge Knight. And what really kicked it off was when Suge dissed Diddy at the Source Awards in '95. All of the drama was good for business, but it didn't take long for the situation to get deadly. A month after Suge aired Diddy out at the Source Awards, both of them were at a party in Atlanta. It's not clear how everything went down, but Diddy's homie and bodyguard, Wolf, allegedly ended up killing Suge's homie, Big Jake, outside of the party. The beef was heating up even more after Pac got out of prison and started dissing Diddy, Biggie, and everyone else on Bad Boy Records. Diddy was making a lot of money off the situation, but then Pac got killed in '96 and Biggie died just a few months later. There's rumors that Diddy put a mill on Pac's head after Pac dissed him on the track Hit 'Em Up. A dude named Keefy D from the Compton Cribs allegedly pulled the trigger on Pac, and he's the one claiming that Diddy was involved with the hit. It was clear the situation was deeper than just rap beef, and regular employees at Bad Boy started getting death threats too. One person who worked there told Rolling Stone, "I didn't recall reading the employee manual that dodging bullets was part of my job description." Rumors said that Diddy also had something to do with Biggie getting killed. For a long time, everyone thought that Suge is the one who put a bag on Biggie's head after Pac died, but it turns out there might be more to the story. Before Biggie died, his lawyers were trying to get his publishing rights back from Diddy and Bad Boy Records. Diddy wasn't about to give up his biggest moneymaker though, and he told the lawyers, "I will never give it up until I'm dead and my bones are crushed into powder." According to people close to the situation, Biggie wanted to leave Bad Boy, and that's why Diddy allegedly had him killed. Biggie getting killed definitely hurt the label in the long run, but it also helped them sell millions of records right after he died. Rolling Stone wanted to put Biggie on the cover of the magazine a couple of months after he was killed, but Diddy told them he wanted to be on the cover instead. Diddy's first album was coming out a couple months later, and he knew that being on the cover of Rolling Stone would help him sell more records. After the album dropped and hit over 5 million sales, Diddy said that at least 2 million in sales were because Biggie died. Then, Bad Boy made more money from Biggie's death when they dropped a tribute track to him called I'll Be Missing You. Diddy, Biggie's wife Faith Evans, and an R&B crew on the label called 112 linked up for the track, and it stayed on top of the charts for 11 weeks. After Biggie died, Mace became the biggest rapper on the label. Mace met Diddy in '96 and signed a $250K deal with Bad Boy. Mace started rapping under the name Murder Mace and was part of a group called Children of the Corn with other Harlem legends like Cameron and Big L. Mace got introduced to Diddy through his sister, who knew Biggie's road manager, Cutta Love. Mace freestyled for Diddy, who immediately offered him a deal with Bad Boy Records, but he made him change his name from Murder Mace to just Mace to be more marketable. Diddy put Mace on tracks with a bunch of different artists on the label, and by the time Mace dropped his first album, Harlem World, in '97, he was one of the hottest new rappers in the game. Mace put the label on his back and went 4 times platinum when he dropped his first record. Diddy was all over Mace's music and videos though, and Mace allegedly wasn't rocking with how Diddy ran things. Even though Bad Boy lost Biggie, by the end of '97, it was one of the most powerful labels in the rap game. Diddy had also signed Black Rob, The Lox, and was trying to branch out into other lanes like rock when he signed a band called Fuzz Bubble. Diddy and Bad Boy were on top of the game, and it looked like they were going to stay there, but then everything started falling apart out of nowhere. In '99, Mace decided to retire from the rap game and become a preacher right after he dropped his second album. Mace leaving like that was a big loss for Bad Boy, but back then, nobody knew how deep the situation really was. Mace came back to the rap game a couple of times, but he was still locked into his deal with Bad Boy. He wanted out of his contract and tried to give Diddy $2 million to release him, but Diddy would never let Mace out of his deal. So in 2022, Mace dropped the track Oracle 2, The Liberation of Mace and Betha, and aired Diddy out like crazy. Mace called Diddy out for keeping his publishing rights, so Mace couldn't make money off his own music and rapped, "Niggas try to starve my kids and give my money to his firstborn. I'm not the nigga supposed to work for him. You supposed to teach culture, P, about your legacy. Instead that niggas follow you, you teaching treachery. And now you say you check for me without a check for me." The track came out way before all the info about Diddy hiring male and female hookers for his freak-offs. But Mace obviously knew what was going on because he also said, "Then they try to dangle money, they didn't think I'll ever leave. Niggas never pay the artists, but they love to pay the freaks." Mace was the one who carried Bad Boy after Biggie died, and on the track, he rapped, "Now I fire on Goliath and watch him fall. Didn't want to kill the short first, cause I come for the tall. And when your main artist died, who the hell did you call?" Then Mace called Diddy out for all of his homies he crossed and rapped, "I'm the ghost of Wolf, ghost of Razar. I come with the facts. You never consider I'm a ghost of Shine. I speak for every artist, never spoke their mind. Representing every artist that was left behind, from Craig Mack to G-Dep." Wolf and Razar, aka Riz, were both tight with Diddy and worked security for him back in the day. Wolf is the one who allegedly killed Suge's homie Big Jake and helped spark the East and West Coast beef, and he was also involved with the shooting that Diddy and Shine got caught up in. Diddy signed Shine with a massive deal and wanted him to be like Bad Boy's new Mace. But before Shine even dropped an album, Diddy got wrapped up in a shooting that changed everything. Diddy, Shine, and J-Lo all went to a nightclub and got into an argument with some people there. Diddy allegedly got into an argument with a dude in the club after he spilled his drink. They started arguing, and Diddy and Shine both pulled out straps. Shots started going off, and 3 people got hit, and after it went down, Diddy, Wolf, and Shine all got hit with charges. Diddy and Wolf beat their cases, but Shine got hit with a 10-year sentence and ended up getting deported back to his home country of Belize. Shine could have made it to the top of the rap game, but instead he got played by Diddy and said that Diddy destroyed his life. Mace aired Diddy out for leaving Shine to rot in prison, and he also name-dropped Wolf and Riz. Wolf and Diddy had been tight since they were kids, and Wolf was always making sure Diddy was safe when he was making enemies everywhere. But while Diddy was making millions in the rap game, he never put Wolf on or helped him out. So while Diddy was buying exotic whips and mansions, Wolf still had one foot in the streets. Then the situation got even worse after Diddy started rocking with Big Meech and his Black Mafia family crew. BMF pretty much ran the South back in the day, and Diddy started paying him for protection when he wasn't in New York. That meant Wolf was getting less money than before, and to make it even worse, Big Meech was hooking up with Wolf's ex-girlfriend. Wolf spotted Meech and his ex at a club in Atlanta and tried to press Meech about it. Wolf and Riz got thrown out of the club, but they waited outside until Meech came out. BMF had people everywhere though, and Meech found out that Wolf and Riz were waiting for him. It's not clear how it all went down, but the BMF crew got the drop on Wolf and Riz and killed them both outside of the club. And rumors say that's exactly what Diddy wanted to happen. Wolf allegedly had some dirt on Diddy, so Diddy allegedly paid BMF to pull the trigger on him. After Shine got locked up, Diddy tried to push Black Rob instead. Black Rob had been around Bad Boy since '96, but never dropped an album on the label. Then in 2000, he finally released his debut project and racked up some crazy sales. Black Rob's momentum died off fast though, and by the time he dropped his second album in 2005, it was clear that Black Rob was falling off. Diddy wasn't paying him enough from the music side of things, so Black Rob went back to robbing people and ended up catching a 7-year sentence in 2006. Things only got worse for him after that. When Black Rob came home from prison, Diddy straight up abandoned him and Black Rob ended up homeless. Fans actually started a GoFundMe page for Black Rob because he had 4 strokes back to back and couldn't afford to get treatment. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough and he ended up dying in 2021. The 2000s was when the downfall of Bad Boy really started. The Lox left Bad Boy the same year as Mace and signed on DMX's label Rough Riders Entertainment. Even though they dropped a hit record on Bad Boy called Money, Power, Respect, the Lox felt like their sound didn't fit the label. Diddy was going in a more pop and R&B direction, which didn't fit their hardcore rap style. So they got tired of fighting with Diddy all the time and went to Rough Riders so they could have more creative control. Faith Evans, Total, 112, Craig Mack, and Foxy Brown all helped the label sell millions of records. And by the mid-2000s, they were all gone. Diddy had signed a ton of new artists to the label, but none of the deals worked out and people started leaving, and a lot of them never even dropped an album. Arista Records was the label that backed Bad Boy in the beginning, but they decided to drop Diddy and Bad Boy in 2002. After that, Diddy tried to get a deal with Elektra Records and almost got 10 mil out of them, but then Elektra pulled out at the last minute. Eventually, Bad Boy ended up with a distribution deal at Universal Records, but Diddy was having a hard time finding artists who could sell records. In 2004, he signed 8 Ball and MJG and started Bad Boy South. Diddy also signed Young Jock and Asim to Bad Boy South, but the label never went anywhere and died off fast. Diddy had a lot of beef with Universal Records too. He wanted more money from them, but Universal wasn't going to hand over more cash since Bad Boy wasn't dropping any hits. Then in 2005, Bad Boy made a new deal with Warner Music Group, and it looked like things were going to start to turn around. Young Jock and Cassie both had hit records. Then the crew Danity Kane hit #1 on the charts. It seemed like Diddy was finally going to bring Bad Boy back to the top of the game, but it didn't take long for everything to come crashing down again. Cassie fell off because Diddy was allegedly stopping her from dropping music. Plus, he was abusing her the whole time, and she's the one who finally exposed him for all the wild crimes he's been involved with. Young Jock fell off too, and he ended up suing Bad Boy Records and said that Diddy wasn't paying him the royalties he earned. Diddy eventually settled with Young Jock out of court, but what went down with Danity Kane was way worse. Danity Kane was put together on Diddy's show Making the Band, where he had artists try out to be in a group he was making. The show got a lot of views, and Danity Kane's first album blew up. But there was way more going on behind the scenes that fans didn't know about. After Diddy started getting accused of all of the abuse, a singer from Danity Kane named Don Richard sued him for assault, kidnapping, and sending her death threats. Apparently, Don Richard saw Diddy abusing Cassie, and when she tried to step in and protect Cassie, Diddy put hands on Don Richard too and told her that he could end people. Bad Boy was going downhill again, and in 2009, the label left Warner Music Group and made a new deal with Interscope Records. Diddy signed Machine Gun Kelly, French Montana, and Los, but none of them are selling like Bad Boy artists did back in the day, and Los left just a couple of years after he signed the deal. Diddy pretty much gave up on trying to run the rap game after that. He had a lot of businesses outside of the music industry that were making him way more money, and it was clear that Diddy couldn't make Bad Boy one of the most powerful labels in the game again. Diddy had a reputation for taking money from his artists and never paying them what they were owed. He would also keep them locked down in the contracts with Bad Boy so they couldn't make money anywhere else, and that's why everyone was shocked by what he did in 2023. Diddy announced out of nowhere that he was giving everyone back their publishing rights. He could have made millions if he sold the rights to other companies, but it looked like Diddy was trying to do the right thing and let the artists finally make money off their own work. People were giving Diddy a lot of love at first, but it turns out there was more to the story, and Diddy wasn't trying to help anyone but himself. Diddy gave everyone their publishing back 1 month before Cassie hit him with a lawsuit for rape, sex trafficking, and abuse. It seems like Diddy knew what was about to happen and was trying to get some good press before it went down. And according to a member of Danity Kane named Aubrey O'Day, Diddy had another reason to give everyone their publishing rights back. She said that before Diddy would hand the rights over, he wanted everyone to sign paperwork and agree not to say anything bad about him or Bad Boy Records.
Any claims or wrongdoings or actions prior to the date of the release, I have to sign an NDA that I will never disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs Music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
So basically, Diddy was trying to blackmail everyone again so they wouldn't be able to air him out in public. A lot of people who worked at Bad Boy knew all about the abuse Diddy was doing, and he didn't want them to be able to come out and talk about it. After the abuse allegations started coming out, May said that was what he had to escape when he left Bad Boy. Diddy had complete control of everybody at the label, and there's definitely more artists that he abused who haven't spoken up yet. At first it looked like the downfall of Bad Boy was all because Diddy was making bad business decisions and couldn't find new artists. But it turns out he was using his money and clout in the industry to abuse everyone around him, and it was only a matter of time before it all fell apart.